Okay, we're live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:40 p.m. it is. And as always, we'll be taking a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press here in Spain over the last couple of days, being the weekend, of course. We'll take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel too by you guys, the viewers. And also we'll go into the chat section for a look at what's happening there this evening. So if you're watching live, say hello. If you're watching after the live event, say hello in the comment section. Now we'll get straight into the news, and of course it's been fairly wet in many parts of the country, and another storm, Marta, hit Spain yesterday. Today the effects were weaker than yesterday, but still very, very wet in some parts of the country, as we can see here. Storm Marta keeps Andalusia on maximum alert as the Guadalquivir reaches unprecedented levels. Storm Marta continues to batter Spain, with Andalusia facing the worst conditions due to torrential rain, strong winds and snow. Authorities have placed the region on maximum alert as the Guadalquivir River reaches unprecedented levels, particularly in Lora del Río, Seville, after 7 previous storms this year and the wettest January in 25 years. The ground is fully saturated and reservoirs are close to capacity, worsening the flood risk. In Lora del Río, the river rose rapidly to over 34.6 meters, overwhelming drainage systems and flooding streets. River overflows across Andalusia have forced further evacuations, bringing the total number of people displaced to more than 11,000 as emergency services respond to an escalating situation. So no relief in sight for parts of Andalusia. Very, very heavy rains, as we can see there. 11,000 people displaced, being forced out of their homes, evacuated because of various risk reasons, mainly due to flooding, of course, but also the entire village of Grazalema in Cádiz evacuated because of the earth was shaking there, basically because of so much water under it. So that is what Andalusia is dealing with, and there are more storms on the way. Just when we thought the sun was out and shining today in the afternoon, for example, a little bit of a sunshine hits some parts of the country. Tomorrow more storms are forecast, I believe. Second piece of news, and why is Spain's flooding rains so exceptional? That's the question. Images of water gushing from electrical sockets in homes in Grazalema have gone viral, symbolizing the scale of the flooding affecting large parts of Spain. The village has become the epicenter of a series of powerful storms, first Leonardo and now Marta, following weeks of relentless rainfall since the start of the year. January was the wettest in 25 years across mainland Spain, leaving the ground fully saturated, according to Rubén del Campo, spokesperson for the state meteorological agency, the AEMET. The problem is not just heavy rain, but the accumulation of it, with soils unable to absorb any more water. Runoff increases sharply, triggering floods and landslides. Government officials stress these are not normal conditions. It is raining already on soaked ground, greatly amplifying the risk of severe flooding nationwide. So that's the situation. The town of Grazalema, the images have gone viral, water pouring out of the water sockets because it was coming up from the ground into people's apartments. And I don't think many people had seen that before. Very, very scary. And of course, that whole town evacuated because of the flood risk. So, we'll see what happens in coming days, because more storms are on the way. But as we saw there, the ground is completely soaked, nowhere for the water to go. And if I put this image on the screen now, we can get an idea of soil moisture around Spain. So we can see, going back to November the 10th, the top left map of Spain, moving on to November the 20th, November the 30th, December the 10th, etc., until we get to January the 20th, and we can see how that dark green, very humid colour is taking over many, many parts of the country, especially Galicia in the north, western Spain, Extremadura and parts of Andalusia. And if we move on to the most recent image, February the 3rd, 5 days ago, we can see Andalusia there, all except for Almeria, which is to the right, near just underneath Murcia. Very, very wet ground in that part of the country. Parts of Madrid as well, many parts of Castilla y León, Castilla-La Mancha, Galicia, of course, and also in the north of the country. That is how wet it has been, and that is what that's what's causing the problems. And if more rain continues, which, as I said, is expected, I don't know what is going to happen, especially considering that some of the rivers are already at their maximum capacity, above maximum capacity. For example, in Córdoba, the Guadalquivir River, and also in parts of Seville as well. We saw before Lora del Río, where my train broke down during the blackout last year. Completely underwater at the moment. And the final piece of news on the screen now, train drivers strike in Spain starting tomorrow. I don't think it's been cancelled. I haven't seen any news that it is. Who's calling it and how long will it last? Spain's rail network will be disrupted by a nationwide train drivers strike running from Monday the 9th until Wednesday the 11th of February. The strike was confirmed by the Spanish Union of Railway Drivers, SEMAF, after and follows recent fatal rail accidents in Alamuz, Córdoba and Gelida, Girona, I think. The action affects commuter trains, medium and long distance trains, high-speed rail and freight transport. SEMAF, the union, is leading the strike alongside Renfe's Works Council with support from unions including the CCOO, UGT and CGT, Aferro and others. The main demands are improved safety standards and structural reforms to rail regulations. Unions have also criticised the minimum service levels imposed by the Ministry of Transport, describing them as excessive, although they will remain in place to guarantee essential travel. So if you're one of the thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that were planning on catching trains around Spain tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, the 11th of February, maybe you might have to change your transport plans given this strike. It's going to be affecting many, many rail services, as we can see there. And the government hasn't been able to convince the unions to call off the strike. The drivers of the rail network are complaining. Safety is the biggest issue, and after a couple of deadly crashes, the one that claimed 46 or 47 lives a few weeks ago now, and also one in Catalonia as well. Drivers are not happy, so that's what we're dealing with. So a strike for the next 3 days, so it might affect your travel plans should you be traveling around the country. Now we'll have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by you guys, the viewers. Let's see what's been happening in the chat section. One here from Roadman 2020. Good update, Stu. That village looks like it could slide off the mountain. Keep up the good work, Cobber. Thanks, Roadman, for the compliment. Yes, we saw images of the village the other day. Grathalema. I don't have a picture handy at the moment, I don't think, but those that saw that video on Saturday when I released it, I think, or maybe Friday, can't remember exactly when it was, but you would have seen the way that the water was cascading over the side of the hill, coming out of that village, coming up from the ground, and out it went. Very, very dramatic signs, and as we saw, the people's houses, the water was coming up out of the sockets, out of the electrical installations in people's homes. So, yeah, difficult situation there, and not sure when people are going to be able to go back to their homes, and also if you would be able to fix the water damage which has been caused in that town, of course. Thanks for the comment. One here from Kath Anderson, I think this is. I just returned to the US from Andalusia 2 days ago. We were in all of those areas, especially Jerez and Estepona. Happily, the sun did come out most days and things were normal then. I hope this isn't a pattern for the future, as I intend to make my home in Jerez. Kathy, I think, yeah, thanks for the comment. And obviously those Jerez was a very heavily affected area down there, and the sherry country, Jerez, of course, where they make sherry down there in the south of the country. The river that runs through that city also breaking its banks, and lots of homes, businesses affected, of course. And is it a trend for the future? Who knows? With these extreme weather conditions that we have been experiencing here in Spain and other parts of the world over the last few years. Severe fires, floods. We had that Dana a couple of years ago as well. So who knows what we will have to put up with in coming years. But hopefully we'll get back to some type of normality and the weather will calm down. But again, who can guarantee that? Who can guarantee that? I don't know. One here from Robert. Thanks, Stu. I appreciate the map. It makes a great visual reference. Thanks, Robert. Yeah, a few people have been asking me to put in maps when I talk about certain parts of the country. I didn't do it today, of course. I had those other graphics there. But when I'm talking about a specific place, I think the other day it was Grazalema in the Cádiz mountain range, to get an idea where it was, just above Marbella, looking at a map, of course, next to Ronda, places that people know, and popular tourist village. So I will, if I can remember, hopefully I will, my memory's not that bad yet, to include maps so people get an idea of where I'm talking about when I refer to certain places around the country, people that might not be familiar with the Spanish geography, of course. Another one here from Raymond. The system creaking huge queues to get the necessary documents for legalization. Who saw that coming? I always get the feeling that Pedro Sanchez has good ideas but never fully thinks them through. Thanks, Raymond. Yeah, a lot of people might agree with you that Pedro Sanchez has some good ideas, but a lot of people would also say that Mr. Sanchez has some terrible ideas, and of course it depends what your opinions on this immigration issue here in Spain is, whether you think that people should be legalized in mass or whether they should go hard line like some other countries around the world when it comes to immigration. I don't know. People have different opinions on this. I'm fairly clear where I stand, that these 500,000 or so people, that's the figure that's been put forward. Some people say more, some people say less, but 500,000 people being put on the table, the number, and they're already here. It's not as if people are going to be breaking down the walls to jump to come into Spain, because these people are already living here. I saw the other day the biggest amount of people living in an irregular situation are from Colombia, South America. So gives you an idea, and I think it was around 300,000 people. Maybe that was the total amount of Colombians living here. I don't know, but it was a huge amount of people, and then, of course, other South American countries as well. So the majority of people that will take advantage of this government plan to regularize or legalize, however you want to use it, will be coming from Latin American countries. So, and as I said, they're already here. They're already most likely working, albeit illegally, and all they want to do is get their papers in order so they can have more rights, which is the idea, right? And final one from Hornet Fronty. Recently had a 3-course evening meal plus drink at Chinese restaurant for 11 or 12 euro. Delicious. Thanks, Hornet Fronty. I think that is the handle there. Yeah, you can get Menú del Noche still in some places. The majority of places only do a menu of the day, not necessarily going into nighttime. But if you're in a tourist area, you might be able to get, one of these night menu offers as well, which I suppose is what that was. And yeah, all businesses tend to have a menu of the day or menu of the evening or whatever it's called in the tourist areas. Here, where I live, you won't get a night menu. That doesn't exist. It's only a la carte. But yeah, in tourist areas, maybe in a place like Torrevieja, maybe you can get that type of thing. I don't know where you are, but you can get it. And all types of restaurants, Chinese, Indian, Spanish restaurants, of course, other cuisines, Italian restaurants, all have some type of daily special, whether it be at night and during the day, or either one or the other. But so, yeah. And if you like Chinese cuisine, it might have been a bargain. Absolutely. Now, we'll go into the live chat. We'll see what's bubbling away there, what has been happening in that live chat. But before I get there, I need to acknowledge the picture on the background taken by Neil, who I imagine was doing the Caminito del Rey down there in Malaga, I think. And this is where this picture was taken. It's one of these spectacular walking routes that you can do down there, where, as you can see, you're basically walking up along the side of some type of cliff or something like that. So quite dangerous as well, but thanks for sending the picture through there, Neil. And anyone else that has a similar picture they'd like to see on the backdrop, the email address is on the screen now, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your photos through to that email address, or anything else that you want to send my way. That is the email address. Feel free. Also, to people that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's by buying me a coffee, super thanks here on the live stream, Patreon supporters, longer-term supporters on Patreon, thank you very much for that support. And the channel members here on the YouTube channel, thank you very much also for that. The like icon is also on the screen. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it if you're watching on a computer or your phone. And then if you're watching on a TV, go into the settings. You'll be able to find that like icon. Do us a favor and hit it. We're currently at 69. Lucky number for some, 69 likes. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today, which I think we will be able to. I think we will. Into the live chat I'm going to go. Let me open it up. Let's see what's happening in that live chat. Let's scroll up to the top. Mike is the first person that I can see here coming in from Canada. 3 degrees above zero in Mike's part of Canada, Vermilion, Alberta. Spring there early. Worried about the spring. I saw the old groundhog come out the other day and say that it's going to be a long winter. Don't know if we believe the groundhog, but, you know, it's something that happens in that town, wherever it is, in Michigan somewhere, is it? Not sure exactly where it is, but somewhere where it's cold in the States. Made famous by the movie, The Groundhog Day, with Bill Murray. Enjoyable movie it was too. John saying, when did this happen? Is it happening currently? Not sure what John's referring to, but if it is about the weather, yeah. It's happening currently, John. Marianne is in the chat here too. Our reporter, Alan, reported on San Diego weather. Meanwhile, I'm hearing about parts of Spain with scary flooding. I hope people are prepared and able to survive and thrive. Let's hope so, Marianne. Let's hope so. Janet, valued member, coming in from Oxford. An almost dry day there. Amazing, says Janet. Amazing. Thanks, Janet, for that. Alan's in the chat. Evening, Stu and his dear friends. Sunny skies wherever Alan is. San Diego, there we go. 26 degrees Celsius. Don't know whether that's normal for this time of the year. Thanks, Alan. Sani's in the chat here too, coming in from a very wet Basingstoke, hoping everyone is well. I imagine everyone is well. Thanks, Asani. Joe Strummer, warm and Vermilion, time for flip-flop and shorts. Don't think so just yet, Joe, but I understand your sense of humour there. 3 degrees above zero. Kev's coming in. I think we missed Kev's first one. We'll see if we can find it. There we go. Still windy in Matheron, but doesn't care. Fitted the whole house water filter. Got a bargain on an outside table and 8 rattan armchairs today. Thanks for that, Kev. What else? Well, I've just become small there. There we go. Chrissy, full day of sun, rain tonight. Last night was like a waterfall. Had to sleep on the sofa. Bedroom leaking like a sieve. There we go. Thanks, Chrissy. Hope things do start to dry out in that part of Andalusia. Stephen coming in from Torrevieja. Great day hiking in the Sierra behind Orihuela. Weather was perfect. Finished off enjoying a cold one at La Mata Beach. Good to be in Spain. Wishing you all a great week. Thanks for that. Stephen, back in Spain again, of course. TYB Senior, good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Or madam. I don't know. Linda's coming in from San Francisco, California. Thanks, Linda. Not sure if... Or Lindas, I think that is there, with an S on the end. Joanne, watching from Boston, USA. Hope all is well in the United States of America, in Boston. What else we got going on here? Is that tendon something? Buenas, Stuart, ¿qué tal? Vivo en Lugo, Galicia. El tiempo está ok. Hoy solo nubes. Translation here quickly. Stuart, good afternoon. How are you? I live in Lugo, Galicia. The weather is okay today. Only clouds. Let's hope that it stays that way. 10. Let's hope so. It's not a lot more rain falling because as we saw on that map, everything's saturated. Saturated is the word. Welsh Jackie, prayers to all suffering from the weather conditions. Thanks, Welsh. IT, is that... it's Sekman or something there, I think it is. Hi all, good to see you in the chat too. Guy O'Man coming in from Montreal, Canada. Asking the question, when are these storms ending? Don't know the answer to that, 10. Don't know. This week, definitely not, according to my map. I'll just check the map and see what the weather's going to be like this week, what the forecast is going to be like. So Monday, 85% chance of rain. Tuesday, 75. Wednesday, 60. Thursday, 55. Friday. So wet week ahead. The weekend looking a little bit drier. That's here in Madrid. Not sure what it's going to be like in Galicia, but hopefully not as wet. Anam saying hi. Good to see you, Anam. John asking for thumbs up. Thanks, John, for that. We're what are we at? 99, nearly at the ton. Amazing. George coming in today from Ohio, USA. Another stateside person watching this evening. 10 also saying, here in Lugo, the famous Muralla Romana Roman wall, it suffered a bit of a collapse on one of the parts of the wall due to the rain here last night. Not good when the that ancient infrastructure state starts to fall away because of the weather conditions, whether it's a bridge in a river, whether it's part of a Roman wall, been there for thousands and thousands of years. And in 2026, the rain brings part of it down. Guy O'Man was in Andalusia last fall or last autumn. Feel sorry for the Spaniards. A lot of people doing it tough, I will say. People being forced out of their homes, evacuated. Not sure when they'll be able to go back. Villages underwater. It's a serious problem and it's going to cost a lot of money. Again, a lot of money. Al Capone in the chat. Been a few weeks since I watched a live stream, but always catch up later. Hope all is well. Thanks for that, Al Capone. All of Spain is going to be like Galicia. Seems that way. However, I was driving around Madrid today and still pretty brown some parts. Scottish couple in Spain watching this evening here in Nerja Costa. Been relentless. Good to see you guys. Hope the channel is going well. Scottish couple in Spain. If you haven't checked their channel out, check it out. Living now in Nerja by the look of it. Glenn is this. Hi, Stuart. It looks like your live feed channel needs a TV license to legally watch it. Not sure what that refers to. Probably in the UK, maybe. Need a TV license to legally watch it? Don't know. I broadcast. Hopefully there's not going to be any licenses put on YouTube. but you never know what politicians are capable of. Julia stayed in the Costa del Sol last February, and all it did was rain constantly the whole week. So I decided to go on holiday to Lanzarote. The weather is terrible with storms over Spain. Yes, Julia, that's the issue, right? Yeah, this time of the year. Can't really be guaranteed good weather anymore. Ten saying, I know you're not into football. Do you think Spain can win the World Cup? Well, anyone in theory can win it, right? Anyone who's in it. But again, do they have the team to win it this year? I don't know. Football Salah European champions also there. Thanks for that, 10. Frank, if people are concerned that undocumented people are lowering wages, well, then document them. I'll go so far as to pushing businessmen who hire undocumented. Yes, Frank, it's a complex debate, or it gets made into a complex debate, this thing here. And but anyway, we'll move on. Julia Torremolinos was terrible last February, and this year again by the look of it. That's it. Again by the look of it. Thanks for that. Renan coming in from LA, sunny and warm there. Thanks for rubbing our noses in it, Renan. Home in the UK, raining constantly off the Lanzarote. Thanks, Julia, for that. Yep. You might be able to get some decent weather in Lanzarote. It might be a little bit windy. But again, what's the date? The 8th of February. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be pool weather, but you never know. Alan, Pennsylvania. There we go. What's that? Punxsutawney. There we go. It wasn't Michigan or whatever I said. Did I say Michigan? Pennsylvania. Anyway, it's cold. 7 degrees in Cheshire, or Cheshire, however you pronounce that one. And not a bad day. Not a bad day. Pete also saying that it's in Pennsylvania. Good way to pull me out of the shadows, Squire. Thanks for that, Pete. Valued member, of course, coming out of the shadows, lurking there in the shadows, as they say. Flutter Girl, Toronto, minus 15 in Toronto. Hoping everyone's having a lovely weekend. Let's hope so. Not yet. Haven't traded in the car for a boat just yet. A friend of mine recently bought a boat. I remember the old saying, the best day of your life is when you buy a boat. The second best day of your life is when you sell that boat. I'll leave it at that. Shower rain in Italy, according to Dominic, is that? Or Dominico. Thanks for that, Dominico. Super chat from Pete, $2 US. Thanks for that, Pete. And Jane, of course. Ann Arbor is bright at the moment. Southeast Michigan, truly frozen over. Thanks for that. Julia also saying there's been a huge storm over Spain and Portugal, same last year. Yep, well, it's time of the year really, isn't it, Julia, I suppose. Tricky coming in from Andalusia. Al Capone's given a super chat here as well. £10. Thanks, Al, for that. Thank you very much to both the contributors this evening, Pete and Jane, of course, and Al Capone. I imagine that's a handle, is it, Al? Not sure. Not sure. Or maybe a relation of the first Al Capone. Or Al Capone, I imagine he was known as in Italy. Rick, best wishes to Stu. Wife and I will be relocating to Alicante from Southern California later this year. Appreciate the broadcast, which is very informative. Thanks for that. I hope all goes well with the move to Alicante from Southern California, was it? Yeah. Yusuf, hi Stu, travelling around Spain at the moment, staying in hostels, bit under the weather because some people like to keep the windows open at night, even when it's freezing outside. Yeah, a bit of a problem, isn't it, when you're sleeping in a room with other people and they keep the window open. I remember when I was a young man, I did the same thing. There were a few arguments over the living conditions. But anyway, a long time ago now. San Carlos, David, coming in from there, California. Prayers to all in Spain suffering from the bad weather. Reached out to relatives in the village of Benaujan, is that, near Ronda. They're all safe, thank goodness. Good to hear, David. Good to hear. Jamo coming in. Phil and Donna from Alcocebre in Spain. Thanks for that. Glad you like the food reviews. Haven't been to a restaurant in a while. I've been a little bit snowed under with some other things, but hopefully I'll get some free time soon and hit the restaurants. I want to get some food videos up and running. Welsh Jackie. I live in a boat full-time in the UK and selling up and moving to Spain. There we go. Good luck with that, Jackie. Living on a boat. Anyone who may use, avoid the Tesla supercharger in Estepona. There's now a river running through the underpass on approach and no way around to the other side as a tree has fallen down across the track. Thanks for that update there. Anyone who has a Tesla and was planning to charge it at that specific place. Jeff coming in. Happy Super Bowl Sunday from Casas de Benítez, Cuenca. That is right. It is the Super Bowl today. I'd almost forgotten. But by the time it's on, it'll probably be 3 o'clock in the morning or something here. I'm looking forward to the halftime concert with Bad Bunny. That'll be interesting. Good evening from Lanzarote, travelling to the Costa Blanca next week. Good luck with that trip to the Costa Blanca. Hopefully it won't be too... Costa Brava, not Costa Blanca. Hopefully it won't be too wet. Al Capone, yes, it's a handle, one of my daughter's boyfriends. There we go. Thanks for that, Al Capone. Just was curious, that was all. Thanks for letting us know. Hope there was nothing, a hidden message there from the daughter's boyfriend. Yusuf, just asking politely, and just put on an extra sweater because usually selfish people whose mind you can't change. Thanks, Yusuf, for that. Yeah, probably better to avoid confrontation. And Chrissy's glad that she doesn't like sport. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people that don't like sport are also glad that they're not caught up in the sporting world, obsessed with football or other types of sport. But anyway, it is what it is, right, Chrissy? On that note, I'm going to wrap this live stream up. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll be back again on Tuesday, hopefully, with another live stream. We'll see how the weather situation shapes up this coming week. Hopefully, the same amount of rain won't fall. The grounds will be able to absorb a bit more of that water, and the dams, we'll see what happens with that, because I read today also that 8 more dams are now at 100% capacity, and if it keeps on raining, who knows? Until Tuesday, hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, and bye-bye.